Yeah, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at each role specifically and individually and look at, before we even start talking to people, we want to define, okay, what is the ideal behavior that we're looking for? What is really the cognitive match what we're looking for? And what's the emotional intelligence match that we're looking for? So in Workflow, we can take that three-dimensional look at somebody, and we know that up front. So when we start the process with somebody, right from the start, we're actually doing all those assessments. And what we've been training our clients to do is to build a larger, what we call talent acquisition pipeline. So that if you're going to want to grow a service-based company fast, one of the most crucial things is you're going to have to build a talent acquisition pipeline for bringing people in. A lot of our clients today are actually growing faster than their ability to hire and train people.
Mhm.
And so what we're doing is helping them build a bigger pipeline so that that's not the bottleneck for their business. Now, after we do the assessments, our system is going to tell us, okay, is this a green fit, kind of a yellow fit? Talk to them, but be cautious, or red fit, like, hey, this is not going to work out. So when we start kind of getting all the greens in and we start sitting down with them, then the real work starts. And what we do is our hiring process is lengthy. It's most people that look at it are going to say that's way too long. I'm never going to spend that much time with somebody before I hire them. And then we just kind of chuckle and we say, okay, well, it's evident you don't understand the cost of a bad hire. And most company owners do not understand how expensive it is every time they hire somebody and it's not the right fit. They
Mm.
typically look at the money that they pay them, and yet that is a fraction of the overall cost of a bad hire. So once somebody kind of internalizes, wow, it's really important that I hire the right people, then we get them to slow down on the front end. So once we've done the assessments with them, we're going to start a process, and this is a process that we designed within Pivot Ready Teams. And what we start with is just a quick pre-screen. And this is usually, we stack pre-screens up, and we're going to do maybe 6 to 8 of them within about a 2-hour period. And literally these are 10, 15 minutes quick back-to-back. We use Zoom and waiting rooms for this quick little interactions. From there, we kind of take the candidates we like and we go to a screening interview, and that's typically going to be about an hour. And what we're talking about is we use the WAY method, where we talk about work, education, interest, and goals. And we really start finding out, okay, where are they at on that, right? So at that point, we started kind of understanding, okay, a little bit about who is this person, what are they interested in, what's important about their future. And when the behaviors match and they've come to that point, then we're like, okay, hey, we want to take them into what we call our deep dive, where we're going to start going really deep with people. And the last thing we do before that is we do a social media scrub. So we're going to check all the social channels on them, and also we reference check them. So we give them references, start reference checking them. But when we go into the deep dive, there's 3 unique steps that we do. And I think, like, if more companies would do this, they're going to start seeing a different culture emerge within their organizations. But the first thing that we do is we get their life trajectory. And we have a conversation with somebody, and we would say, hey, Sarah, let's go way back. Let's go back to maybe you're 5, 6 years old. What do you remember about your childhood? What was great about your childhood? Tell us about the community you grew up in. And we start learning what this person went through within those years where, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we kind of jump over to kind of, hey, let's talk about those junior high type years, right? Let's talk about when you were, 12, 13, 14 years old. What was life like? What happened? And then we kind of pace kind of through those high school years. And from there, hey, did somebody go to university? Did they not go to university? Did they take their first job? And we literally just sit there. And I mean, this exercise could take 90 minutes to 2.5 hours, where somebody is, just walking us through their life story. And by the time that we get done, we've asked them a ton of questions, because the rule is, for the person having the interview with them, it's very conversational, but the rule is that you don't actually get to add comments. You just ask questions.
Hmm.
So the one person's asking questions, the candidate, is talking for 2 hours, and time flies by for them because they're talking about themselves. But what happens is it starts giving us a track record of emergence. And we started seeing, okay, hey, has this person really started elevating their position in life? When they started this position, what were they doing? By the time that they left that company, where were they? What did they get accomplished? Who were their inspirations at that company, right? Who was there anybody there that had conflict with? I mean, we're just asking so many questions that it gives us a real insight into who this person is. And one thing that we've learned is that if you want to build a growing company, you have to have growth-minded people that have a track record of emergence.
Mm.
And so when we look at that and we see that, oh, somebody joined a company and they kind of had some time, they were there 2 or 3 years, they went to a different company, they were there 2 or 3 years, but we can't really see that they actually elevated within that company, then it shows a flat line of trajectory. And we don't hire people with flat lines of trajectory, and we recommend to our clients they never do that either, because we say, look, if this person's been flat, 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 and you hire them, what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be flat. Because typically people, it's kind of like a zebra doesn't change its stripes, right? And surely there's going to be that unicorn person that they've kind of been one way with 4 other businesses, and they get to your business and they're going to become a rock star. But unfortunately, we can't bet on that happening. So what we do is we really go deep and find out, okay, what that track record was. After that interview, we get ready for the next interview, where we actually go through thought process, and we ask a lot of questions. And the behavioral assessment that we do actually helps us define how to ask the questions and which questions to ask based on their behavior. So these questions are almost tailored for the individual. And we really start getting a sense of, okay, how do they think? How do they process information? How do they make decisions? And again, this interview is usually about a 90-minute interview. And then the final deep interview that we do is called the future pacing interview, where we take somebody and we spend 2 hours talking about, what they really see happening in their life in the next 5 years. And we go really deep on it. So if somebody says, oh, well, I want to take my family on a vacation. Perfect. Like, where'd you go on the vacation? Where would you want to take them? What do you do? What did it look like? I mean, we really kind of put it in a way that we get inside their head and really see what they want. And when all of that is over, then we've got enough evidence to start making a decision of understanding, one, is somebody, obviously if we've gone through the assessments, they're behaviorally a fit for their role, they're cognitively a fit for the role, they've got the right level of emotional intelligence for the role. Now, through all the questions we've asked, we've gotten a good sense of who they are. Are they growth minded? What are their values? Will they be a fit with the culture, with the team that they're going to be working on, with the organization as a whole? And we've got enough evidence from all the questions that we've asked to understand, are they going to be able to do this job? And that doesn't mean that we have to hire somebody that has the skills already to do the job. We hire people actually a lot that don't have the skills already, but they're the right fit in every other way, and then we can teach them the skills. So that's kind of in a nut box, like, what our hiring process is. We've got a few other steps after that where we do a team interview and things like that to make sure they gel, but it's a lot longer process than most people use. And we're seeing that the people that will slow down enough and do this process in the front end are finding better candidates. They're building better relationships with their candidates before day one in the work of them showing up for work. And when they show up for day one, and this person has gone through spending so much time with them, they show up more motivated, more eager to help the company win than ever before, because they believe that they're working for a company that cares about them and knows what they want and then wants to help them win. So typically, training, onboarding, and training go much better when you've slowed down on the hiring side.